Hi, Mrs. D, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. If you have been on this journey with me since the beginning of my channel, welcome back and thanks for sticking around. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about today. If you watched my last video, you know that I decided to take my channel in another direction. I'm still baking. Don't worry, I'm still baking. It's just that I've learned so many things here of late, and I decided to implement those things on my channel. So today we're not baking, but I'm going to tell you all about these goodies here and all the nutritional values and all of the wonderful things that I have learned about milling my own grains. So welcome to Mrs. D's milling grain journey. I'm not changing the title. That is too long, but welcome, 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 welcome. So in today's video, we're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've learned. I'm going to tell you some of the nutritional values that I've learned about milling your own grains. I'm going to tell you about what my honest opinion is about some of the things that I have baked, because I believe in being honest on my channel. Now, I do realize that not everybody can take this journey. This has been an investment. I will tell you, yes, it has been an investment. I purchased this mock meal grain milling gadget, if you want to call it. This is my new favorite gadget, offline, and it was a substantial investment. How substantial, you say, Mrs. D? Well, you can go to their website, mockmeal.com, and see how substantial. But I will tell you this. The first mock meal that I looked at was about $200 cheaper than the one that I purchased. But because I waited about 2 weeks, all of a sudden, that particular one that I wanted was out of stock. And because I wanted so desperately to start milling my own grains, I ended up getting the mock meal 200, of which I have been thoroughly satisfied. Now, I say satisfied, but I don't have anything to compare it to, but I'm thoroughly satisfied. It's very easy to use. In a previous video, I showed you, I did an unboxing and I showed you how to clean the meal for the very first time. And coming up in some of the videos, I'll show you how I will meal the grains and then therefore do some recipes. But what I decided was I was going to practice first. And that's why you see all of these delicious, and I really mean delicious, things that I baked here. But let's go back and talk about the mock meal. This mock meal is an impact meal. And what I mean by impact meal is there are two stones on the inside of this machine that grind together like in the old days and grind your meal down. You can meal your grain starting from coarse to very, very fine. So you can do any dry grain from corn to hard wheat, red wheat, all types of grain, as fine of a powder as you need. I do plan on trying to do some corn because I want to make my own grits. Why not? So before I go any further, I would just like to give a shout out or thank you to some of the YouTubers that helped me start this journey. So I want to thank Bread Beckers, because that's where I purchased my grain. Sue Becker has so many different videos out there about grains and products and gadgets that you'll need if you decide to take this journey. So I want to say thank you to them. I also want to thank Moon Magnolia, because her channel showed me an awesome demonstration of this mock meal. And I'm so glad that I watched her channel and was able to see how this worked. I watched several others, but her video had the most impact. Some other YouTubers that I want to thank Lovely Belle. Lovely Belle was the first person that showed me some great demos in how to make biscuits. And these biscuits were the very first thing that I made for my husband and I. Guys, okay, so let me start here about these biscuits. It was different. It's very different making these biscuits than making the traditional biscuits. I will tell you this. I enjoy these. These are so good. They have a more heartier grain taste, a more flavorful taste. As you can see, they rose just as high as your traditional biscuit. But there is a difference in the way that you prepare these biscuits. So I want to thank Lovely Bell Bakes for her great demonstration on how to make these biscuits. And like I said, they came out wonderful. These actually are going to go into the freezer because we've had some this week. They were excellent. My husband really enjoyed it. And I will tell you this, we did not want to put any syrup, honey, anything. All we wanted was butter because the flavor of the biscuit was just so delicious. We didn't need to add anything to it. I also want to thank Grains in Small Places. It's her recipe that I used to make this delicious bread. Now, this loaf of bread I just got out of the freezer today because I baked 2 loaves a couple of weeks ago and I put one in the freezer, took it out today, and we will have this for the rest of the week. I will tell you, when you make your own bread from fresh grains, it's important that you consume the bread within the first 2 to 3 days, because of course there are no preservatives. Yay. So your bread will start to deteriorate or go bad sooner. But that's not going to happen because the first loaf, my husband and I ate it within the first 2 days because it was so delicious and so soft. So let me let you see. Look at that. See how soft that is? And I just got this, like I said, out of the freezer. I wish you could smell it. This smells so good. Smells so good. And the last YouTuber that I want to thank is, I think the name of her channel, Simple Health with Marissa. She gave me all of the nutritional facts behind grains and the components of grains and things of that nature. So speaking of the components of the grain and all the nutritional facts, let's talk about it. So these are wheat berries. This is soft white wheat. Soft white wheat is what you would use when you want to make biscuits and cakes and pastries and things of that nature. So I've ordered several different types of wheat, which we'll talk about when we start baking. But let's just talk about the components. So the 3 different components of a wheat berry are the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. Within those 3 components of a wheat berry are so many different vitamins and minerals that we need for a healthy lifestyle. So let's talk about the bran. The bran, and I'm gonna cheat a little on this because I've taken notes. Okay, so the bran is rich in vitamins, protein, vitamin B, iron, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium. I can go on and on and on. The germ is the most nutritional part of the wheat berry. It's essential in fatty acids. It's a great food source for vitamin E, many minerals and antioxidants and phytonutrients. I didn't know what a phytonutrient was before I started doing my research. Okay, let's continue. The endosperm contains mostly starch and proteins. I am right now taking, I've been working out, and my coach keeps telling me, you got to get your protein in. Never did I know that I can tell her, I had a couple of slices of bread today, so I know I got my protein in. So this is a natural way of getting in good sources of protein. And wheat berries also contain macronutrients. That's another term that I was not familiar with before now, which is our carbs, our fats, and our proteins. Guys, so do your own research. I'm only telling you just a little bit of the things that I have learned and why I'm choosing to take this journey. So let's talk about some of the other things that I have done since starting this journey. I also made a pie crust. Oh my goodness, for my family during Thanksgiving. I guess I need to put a picture of it here, there. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I took one of my old recipes, my bourbon pecan chocolate pie that I made maybe about 2 years ago, and I made the pie crust using milled grains, and my family thought it was absolutely delicious. Another thing that I did during Thanksgiving, I made these hearty, wholesome oatmeal raisin cookies. This is another recipe that's on my channel. I decided to use half and half because I didn't want to shock my family. So I used half regular flour and I used half meal flour. And they thought they were absolutely delicious. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't it just look healthy? So you don't have to feel guilty. I was telling my son, I was like, I literally want to crumble one of these cookies up with some milk and just eat it for breakfast. So yes, those are some of the recipes that I've done so far. Now, some of the cookbooks. One of the main cookbooks that I've gotten so far is this one. You see that? The Essential Home Ground Flour book. Yeah, I got this one off the Bread Baker's website. You can go to their website. I'll probably leave a link at the in the description box. But this right here, there's so much good information in this cookbook. She gives explanations of why she uses some of the flour and what your bake should look like. Just all of the information. This is good for your first timers. Um, One thing that I have noticed about milling my own grains and baking is your. Let's talk about the bread. So when I did my mix, when I when I did the recipe for the bread, I noticed that my dough was so wet and I was like, what did I do wrong? But because Milling in Small Places did an excellent demo on what your dough should look like and all the things, I was able to realize that when you are milling your grains and making bread, you have to let it sit for a while. So the thing that I've learned with milling my grains, it takes time. This is not something that you can rush. So if you're in a hurry, this may not be the path for you, but if this is something that you want to do, please be aware that now your bake times are going to take a little longer. When I made this bread using my good old KitchenAid mixer, I kind of felt sorry for it because it needed to knead for like 20 minutes in order for me to get to do the window pane test. And I was concerned. I was like, oh my goodness, I think my mixer is about to blow up. But I mean, it got really, really hot. But that is something that I plan on replacing because I love my KitchenAid mixer. But I do notice that when you use freshly milled flour, that you have to knead it a little longer. So these are just some of the things, guys, that I have learned so far since milling my own grains. The next video that you see, I'll probably do one of these, either bread or biscuits or maybe something sweet. And we'll also talk about some of the sweeteners that I have added to my pantry. No longer, well, I'm still using white sugar, but I've learned that there are other sweeteners, other natural sweeteners that I can use instead of just regular white sugar. Because in the past, I've used cane sugar and I've also used coconut sugar, which is has a very nutty, flavorful taste, and I really love coconut sugar. But I also I've I purchased two other, when I purchased my grains, I purchased two sugar substitutes. So I'm adding those. So guys, thank you for joining me today on my introduction on grains and what I'm doing now. Listen, please follow along. Subscribe if you've not subscribed, because I'm going to be honest with you. So far, I have not been monetized. I'm not making any money off my channel, but that is what I would like to do so that I can supplement my income so that I can buy some of the new products that I need a new mixer. So share this video with your family and friends, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification, all the things so that you are aware when Miss D uploads a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Ask me anything and I will definitely get right back to you. Again, thank you for joining me today on Mrs. D's Baking TV. Be blessed. Bye.